you to understand the actual units. And now we'll start with this presentation. Today's presentation agenda: introduction, power semiconductor devices, power electronic converters, advantages and disadvantages of power electronics, applications of power electronics. So these are the topics today's presentation. And then this is Balasubba Reddy, EEE department, and totally we have 5 units in this course. First unit deals with power diodes and transistors. I think you may be known diodes, basic diodes, but in this power electronics we will use the power diodes. There is a difference between conventional diode and power diode. So all these things will come across in the unit 1, and as well as the power transistors. So all these devices we will see the power devices instead of conventional devices, because our ratings, operation application ratings and all high. That's why we are using as a power devices. So first unit comes with devices only, whether it is a diodes or a transistors or MOSFET, IGBTs. So all these power devices we are come across. That is the first unit. And then second unit, SCRs. This characteristics of SCR, anyhow I will show that syllabus also. Second unit purely related to SCR. Total subject deals with only the maximum case we are using as a SCRs. Using that SCR we are able to build that device. Second unit, silicon controlled rectifiers, and this static characteristics, dynamic characteristics, series operation and parallel operation of SCR, many protection devices, all the things come across in this unit. And then there is a third unit, phase controlled rectifiers. So these are all the controllers will start from this unit onwards. Totally 5 controllers in our subject. So all the 5 controllers combinedly we call it as a power electronics controllers. Individual controllers will be there, like that we have all 5 controllers we need to discuss in this course. So that start with third unit onwards. And then fourth unit, DC to DC converters, AC to AC converters. Anyhow, for all the 5 controllers I will explain the basic introduction portion, and then classifications and types, many things I will cover these 2 introduction classes. So this is the fourth unit, and the last unit is the inverters. So this is another controller. Now we can see that unit third is one controller, phase control rectifier. Unit 4, DC to DC is another controller, and AC to AC, in that 2 controllers. Next class onwards, exactly at 9:35 I will start. After that I will close that everything. Only class will be there. Those who are in the meeting only they can listen. I cannot do like this. What else you have work? 9:30 I started. 9:20 itself I am in the room, but nobody is admitted. Up to 10 o'clock I cannot do like this, no? Yeah, see this some of the test books, but the only thing is you try to understand the things. Now these are the syllabus. Just now I briefly explained all 5 units, and inside content you can go through once. Power diodes and transistors. This is the title of the unit 1. In this majorly 3 components they discussed. One is the BJT, MOSFET, IGBT. So these are the 3 devices. In detail we are to see the structure, that is basic structure, working principle, and then characteristics, input and output characteristics, and their applications. This is completely only the devices, that is a diode, BJT, MOSFET, IGBT. So these are the only the device constructions and all. And second unit, purely SCR. This is another device, is a familiar device. Another name for this is a thyristor. We call it as SCR or a thyristor. So in this again, characteristics of SCR, static as well as dynamic characteristics, and then series and parallel operation of SCRs. Why we need to go for series and parallel operation? Anything, not only this, you can see in motor case, I mean generators also connected in parallel, or alternators are connected in parallel. So what is the reason? When one unit is not sufficient to meet the demand, obviously we have to go with the combination, that is a parallel operation of SCRs, generators. Similarly, we can say that series operation also. Series operation deals with the voltage and parallel operation deals with the current. So whenever one unit is not sufficient, one unit means one SCR here, one SCR is not sufficient to meet the demand, then you have to go for as a series and parallel combinations. The series is to meet the voltage demand, parallel operation to meet the current demand. For high rating application like HVDC transmission and all, so you are able to use this type of operation because one device is not suitable. So that is the case here, series and parallel operation. And another thing, we can see that triggering circuit. This is main important triggering circuit here. So whenever thyristor want to conduct, we need to give some firing pulse, or you have to pass some signal to fire the device or to conduct the device. For that, you need some circuit, additional circuit. Instead of actual power circuit, there is a firing circuit also required for each controller to conduct the devices. Whereas in diode case, this type of circuits are not required. The diode will be automatically conduct when anode is positive with respect to the cathode. But whereas SCRs and BJT, MOSFET, IGBT and many other devices, control devices, we need as a firing circuit or a triggering circuit. So for that, we need to discuss this type of classification here. Triggering circuit, some methods are there. We'll come across in that unit 2. And then commutation methods. There is a one new word here, is a commutation. All of you remember, it will repeatedly use that word in a throughout the unit. Commutation, it is not a machine's commutation. There also commutation word will be there, but in the power electronics, commutation means that just it is a process of turn off the device, because once the device is turned on, you need to turn off. One thing you remember throughout this subject, our operation is only simple or common. What is it? Just you switch on the device and switch off the device continuously. That's all throughout the subject. But it may be different controllers, maybe different circuits, and many classifications. But all the things we are doing only to turn on the device and turn off the device, continuous regular interval to control the voltages and powers. So that is only here. That's the reason commutation means the process of turn off the device, we call it as a commutation. That means once the device is on, any device, it may be SCR or something else, but here different devices, they may have different strategies. But in this strategy, SCR device, we have a commutation methods. One is natural commutation, another one is a forced commutation. Some cases, naturally the device is going to be turned off. Another case, some input is a DC case, supply will never go to natural zero. That's why you make use of additional components like L and C. You have to turn off the device forcibly. That is the reason we call it as a forceful commutation. There is a two types of commutation. One is natural commutation, another one is a forced commutation. So all these things come across different types of forced commutations also there. So this all come under unit 2. And now we'll see unit 3. This is a phase controlled converters or a rectifiers. So you may be aware in previous classes rectifier. What is meaning of or function of a rectifier? In previous classes, you may be known rectifier. It will convert fixed AC to the fixed DC. That is for diode rectifier. I think you may be aware that diode rectifier, it will convert fixed AC to fixed DC. But in our case, in power electronics subject, I will define the term power electronics also after this slide. At moment, the uncontrolled devices are not used in this power electronics preferably. Will use only the controlled output. But if it is a diode rectifier, it will give only output. So fixed AC to fixed, it is uncontrolled. We cannot use much applications. Only some applications are there that will come under first unit itself when I am explaining as a diode. But whereas third unit, we are using only the thyristors. It is a controlled. That is the difference between diode and thyristor. Simply remember one thing. If I use diode, output will not control. Output will be fixed. Whereas if I use thyristor or SCR, both are same names, silicon controlled rectifier or a thyristor. Both are same words. If I use in a circuit replaced by the diode is replaced by the thyristor, then automatically your output is going to be controlled. So that's why we call it as a controlled rectifiers. Whereas if I use diodes, it is uncontrolled rectifiers. So all these unit with the different load conditions, the rectifiers with R load will observe RL load and RLE load. RLE is nothing but a motor indirectly. So this all we can able to, and then some freewheeling diode also we are using. What is the significance of the diode? And then source having some inductance or resistance or impedance. And if I use, if I consider the source impedance, what is the effect? And another controller is a dual converter. This is a 4-quadrant operated controller. So all this come across unit 3. And now we'll see the unit 4. I explained unit 4 consisting of a DC to DC, AC to AC. DC to DC is nothing but we can observe the unit 4 DC to DC also called as a chopper. The name conversion from DC to DC means that fixed DC to the variable DC. Whatever controller we are going to study in this subject, all output is going to be controllable one. In third unit also, it is a fixed AC to the variable DC. Whereas if I use diode rectifier is a fixed AC to the fixed DC, but if I use the phase controlled rectifier, it will convert fixed AC to the variable DC. That is under unit 3. But unit 4, fixed DC to the variable DC. Your output is going to be vary in this. There is a different types of controllers here. Step up and step down chopper, step up and down chopper. So all these things I will explain briefly in later point of slides. Step up is name itself. Output is going to be more than the input. Step down means output is less than the input. And one more controller is there. You can able to operate the chopper whether you want higher voltages or lower voltages, both is possible. So these are all the some types of choppers. And another based on the quadrant operation also you have some type A to type B, C, D, E, and then some regulators are there, buck boost regulators and control strategies. So all these things come across unit 4 of the half of the part, and rest half portion AC to AC converters. So this again same fixed AC to the variable AC, and in this dividing as a two parts. One part is fixed AC to the variable AC with constant frequency. Another part is fixed AC to the variable AC with variable frequency. These are the two classifications in this. That first classification, fixed AC to the variable AC with constant frequency, that is nothing but a AC voltage controller. And another one, there is a cyclo converter. So cyclo converter, it will convert fixed AC to the variable AC with the variable frequency. So all these controllers come across unit 4. Wait a minute, somebody is waiting, just I will admit them and I will, just a minute. So this is a fourth unit, and we'll see the fifth unit. Principles, this not a principle, this one is an inverter. So the fifth unit is a inverter. So in this inverter, we have different types of inverters. There is a bridge inverter, is classifying as a, there is a half bridge inverter and full bridge inverter, as well as another classification based on the input voltage, single phase inverter and three phase inverter. And then there is a control techniques of inverter, and then this control techniques is a pulse width modulation techniques. And then another classification, voltage source inverter and current source inverter. And in the three phase inverter, we have two modes of operation. One is 180-degree mode of operation and 120-degree mode of operation. So all these are the subtopics in a units. And now we'll see the introduction. I mean, these are all about your syllabus. So what you are going to study in this course. And then here a definition of power electronics. From this, you can easily define what is a power electronics. If anybody asks define power electronics, so based on your all syllabus, you can able to observe all the things you are able to control and conversion. So that is only your definition. That is the reason I explained in detail of that syllabus. So in that, whether it is a AC to AC or a DC to DC or a DC to AC inverter, function of inverter is a DC to AC, means fixed DC to the variable AC. So that is a function of inverter. So phase control rectifier, fixed AC to the variable DC. All 5 controllers functions you must remember. But in any Viva voice or a quiz, they may ask what is the function of individual controller. So now that is only the function, then obviously your power electronics definition also will be the same. It defined as control and conversion of a large amount of electric power. So this is the statement of a power electronics. Then why we need control and conversion? So that is a second point. Once if you know the definition, control and conversion of electric power, then the next question is why we need to control and conversion. You can recall any application, the conversion and control. You can observe conversion. Let it be AC to DC. Why AC to DC conversion is required? Or DC to AC conversion is required? Or DC to DC? Or AC to AC? So whatever, here we need some many applications throughout your life. We can observe in house purpose, industry or medical, any aeronautic. So whatever may be the application if you pick, there we'll do the conversion and control only. So that some few examples I'm mentioning here why control and conversion is required. We can see this diagram. What is happening here? Input is some voltage, let it be 230 volts AC supply or maybe 100 volts AC supply. Alternating voltage is available with you. But your application, you can see that I want to use the LED or a DC motors or a microcontrollers or a chargers. So anything, just I am showing very few, but you can easily observe with this logic many thousands of applications are available with different voltage levels. You can see that various voltage requirements. Microcontroller we need 3.3 volts, LED maybe 5 volts or some other voltage levels, or motors, small motors maybe 12 volts. So like that, many applications and laptops or different types of adapters. So many things are required with the different voltage levels. So your availability voltage is a AC voltage, but application may be DC. Some cases may be AC with different voltages. Like that, you may have different voltage levels of applications, but how to meet it? So you cannot directly connect 10 volts AC to the 12 volts DC or something else. So, or maybe 12 volts AC. But what we need is, you need to convert that AC to DC by make use of any of the controller. So that controller may consider phase control rectifier at moment, and now it will or maybe diode rectifier. Let's see that. So 10 volts AC is available. Use the diode rectifier. What it will do? What is the function of diode rectifier? I already explained all the controller's functions. You must remember, from next class onwards, in middle, I will give online quiz. I will just post a question. You have to answer it. So whether it is wrong or right, you must just choice box is there. You just click it, then results will display. Then whether you are correct or not, something like that. I will do that also in the next class onwards. At moment, diode rectifier convert fixed AC to the fixed DC. Now something is proportionate to DC. I have 24 volts DC now by making use of a diode rectifier. I converted 10 volts DC to 24 volts DC. But our application is not a 24 volts DC. What is our application? Application may be different voltage levels. For that, use the DC to DC converter with the different control strategies. You can able to get it with variable voltages, with variable level of voltage, and that you can connect it to the application. So this is simple, small example I explained why control and conversion. First is the definition of a power electronics. It will convert and control the power, and whereas why we need to do that, for that this is one application. Any other you can able to recall in your mind, may be getting many application like fan application. Let you see that. What is our fan in house or anything? So fan is there, you want to control the speed of a fan. How will you control? Input is AC supply is given, but if you are not using any regulator, what will happen? Fan speed is not possible to control. So that is the reason we are using as a regulator. So now regulator is going to be control the speed of a fan. How? Inside, what are the controllers are used in that? You can see that one small diagram. This is the olden days regulators. I think you may be aware what is inside this regulator. Not a nowadays, olden days regulator. Just I will admit somebody is there. Yeah. So now we can see in olden days regulator, inside there is a series of rheostats. Now, when the position changes from 1 to 2, 2 to 3 and so on, what is happening inside this position? If you move, automatically inside resistance is going to be cut off. So, one position to second position, second to third and so on. Initially, there is a high speed. Initially, there is a high speed will be there. I mean, high resistance, not a speed. High resistance is connected because all the resistors are connected in series. Then, if you move position 1 to 2, some portion of resistance is going to be cut off. If resistance is cut off, then what will happen? If resistance is cut off, we can observe that you are releasing the more voltage. If all resistance is in the series, high resistance, the voltage drop across that will be more. So less voltage pass through the fan, speed is low. And if we change position 1 to 2, your some portion of resistance is cut off, the resistor value is decreasing, then voltage drop will be decreases, then you are passing high voltages, and so on. If you are moving step 1 to 2, 2 to 3 and so on, you are gradually cut off that resistance. Then finally, if we move to step 5, total resistance is going to be removed. If no resistance, the total supply voltage applied across the motor speed will be high. That is the logic behind the regulator, and this regulator is going to be control the speed. But what is the drawback in this? That is the reason we are going for as a power electronic regulator. That is a AC to AC regulator. In this, we can observe the previous olden days regulator. There is a rheostats there. Because of that, power dissipation is taking place. That is one drawback. Smooth speed control is not possible, and only steps of speeds will get it, whether position 1, position 2 and so on. But in between 1 to 2 is not possible to get the speed. That is the drawback previously. Now you are replacing by power electronics controllers. Thus inside there is a AC to AC controller, or nothing but a AC voltage controller. So AC voltage controller, it will convert fixed AC to the variable AC, so that by changing the control parameter, that we call it as a firing angle. At moment just remember control parameter alpha. By changing alpha, you are able to control the output voltage, so that you will get it as a variable speed with smoothly, and you can get it any speed. It is not in a steps fashion. Some regulators also there in steps, depends upon their company, but you can able to get it as a smooth variation, and no resistors involved in this. It is only the two anti-parallel thyristors for high rating. For low rating, only the triac is used to use this controller. And then you compare the conventional method and this method, it is a very simple and no losses, because no rheostat or resistors are involved. Power dissipation is not there. So that is the reason we are using as a controller, AC voltage controller. And another application you can see, light control. Normally, if we switch on the light, it will glow, or switch off the light, it will off. But whereas in restaurants and some areas, we required as a some kind of light control. I don't want to fully glow, or I don't want to off. Some middle range of illumination. If you require that type, you can use again AC voltage controllers. And if you want to control the speed of the motors and AC motors, DC motors, many things, instead of conventional methods, you can use power electronics controller. Lot more advantages are there. So we will see all these things in our individual controller application, and then only we'll start actual syllabus. What I mean to say you, all these controllers basic information, if we are aware, why we need to study that unit, so where we can apply this. So this type of logical reasoning answers, if you are understand, then it is easy for you to understand the in depth of the syllabus. That's why I will elaborate it all the units individually initially, then we'll start. Now these are all some what we called as applications in a power electronics. And it consisting of power electronics totally consisting of a only major three components. One is source, another one is load, in between power electronics controller or a circuit, whatever you call it as. Only three components you have: source and load, and then this one is a power electronics controller. So these three only in this. So source is AC or a DC, and load, it may be AC load or a DC load. In between power electronics is there. So what this power electronics will do, based on your requirement of the load, the controller will act. Suppose if load is a DC motor, your source is a AC supply, what power electronics will do? That circuit will act as a phase control rectifier. It will convert fixed AC to the variable DC, so that your DC motor is going to be controlled. Otherwise, if your load is a AC motor, let it be as induction motor or a synchronous motor, I want to control the speed of a motor. But your AC, input side may be AC or may be DC. Suppose DC is available, the controller will act as an inverter. It will convert DC to AC, and the AC is connected to as an induction motor. Speed is going to be controlled. Suppose input is a AC only, we are using as an induction motor, then this power electronics controller will act as a AC voltage controller or a cycloconverter. It will convert AC to variable AC. It is connected to the induction motor, like that. So totally in input and output between there is a mediator. Now power electronics will act as a mediator between the input and output, and all these controllers will act accordingly and to meet electronics now. So source is known and load is known, and there is a power electronics, there is a different controllers. Any control you take, it consisting of only the some components. That components only switches, not ordinary switches. What are the power electronics switches? It may be transistor, MOSFET, IGBT, SCR, or many things are there. In your course, we are going to deal with SCR, MOSFET, IGBT, BJT, only these components. So that components we call it as a control switches. So that is one thing. Energy storage elements like L and C, we can use switch. Automatic switch means when you say or you can pass the signal to turn on the device, means switch is going to close or switch is going to be open. You are to pass the signal to that particular device, then only switch is going to be controlled. For that reason, we required control circuit. So based on your control circuit, switch is going to be operated. So these are the some applications deals with flow of power. That's all. Any controller, it will deals with flow of power only, means nothing but a controlling the power. So now there is some of the applications or research areas in the power electronics you can observe there. So many things, it may be deals with the power electronics, power systems, electrical drives, renewable energy integration, and light control, fan control, energy conservation. So like that, many areas this power electronics is going to come into the picture. So then you can in future, if you want to do the project using these controllers, you can apply this some application, whether I want to control the speed of an induction motor, use appropriate controller and you can able to control your induction motor, and that is a project. Or renewable energy integration, suppose solar power is there, wind power is there, use the power electronics controllers appropriately, you integrate these two powers, solar and wind, to get the continuous power supply. So like that, in power system also, HVDC transmission and many areas, smart grids, and then distribution system, microgrid, and transmission. So in many areas, we required these applications of a power electronics. So this is small, some small application I shown you. And then majority of applications in a power electronics is based on the switching the power flow. So in order to improve the efficiency. So now how you are to switching action is taking place to get your appropriate output, that is based on your efficiency. Mean to get better efficiency, you are able to operate your control strategies. So consequently, must use the power semiconductor devices in that switches. That's what I mean to say in previous also. So power semiconductor devices like SCR, BJT, MOSFET, IGBT, appropriate devices you have to use to get it as these. So these devices here are come under unit 1. So all the power electronics devices, so BJT, MOSFET, IGBT and all will discuss in unit 1, and unit 2 only SCRs we are going to discuss. So now there is a switches are diodes, BJT, MOSFET, IGBT I mentioned, and similarly power MOSFET and IGBT has a large role in this modern power electronics. Instead of using the transistor and all, you may use the MOSFET and IGBT. And then in the last 50 years of decade, there is a power electronics technology is improved very rapidly. Due to that advantages, you can see that many industries are adopting this control strategies. Application is extended to industry, commercial and aerospace, then residential, military and utility environment. So in many areas, power electronics are adapted. So main involvement in this field of devices, so converts topologies, electric machine drives, and then control. So anyhow, drives are already explained. And now latest technology using these controllers, by make use of the AI techniques also, you can able to use like a fuzzy logic, artificial neural network, neurofuzzy. So like that, many applications are involved in this power electronic strategy. In these controllers, you may have like a different components, energy storage elements, and then fuses, because in that if you open the power electronics kit, you may find this type of energy storage elements and devices. It may be SER or MOSFET or BJT. So these type of devices are available inside the power electronics controllers. And now we will see the power semiconductor devices. In 1957, SER is invented or introduced. Later, many other semiconductor devices technologies are adopted and implemented and efficiently. Now we can see this is the component. If you want to do your hardware projects and all, you need to buy all these components, whether it is a SER or MOSFET or IGBT, like that. I will show all the components for your understanding, to understand hardware projects, or you want to do some experiment in, instead of doing kit. Our labs all having as a existing kits, but you want to do in breadboard, you must know what is the component. In the kit you don't find anything, simply they will give the terminal out and you are plug in the patch cards, you will get the output. But that is not the appropriate way to understand. You have to take a breadboard and buy the components and connect by your own, and you see the results in the CRO. That is the actual implementation of hardware, so that you will understand what is the component, what is the protection circuit, how to connect the protection circuit, all these things. As you know that SCR is having as a 3 terminals. Anyhow, that will come under second unit. The 3 terminal names are anode, cathode, and gate. These leads are specified. First lead, this lead we call it as a cathode, and then middle lead is anode, and last one is a gate. So this is the component of a SCR. We can represent in the circuit. Symbol will be like this. Symbol is there is a only diode symbol only. Additionally, there is additional parameter coming to the picture is a gate. So reason of that only we call it as a thyristor is a controlled device. If I remove the gate, it is an uncontrolled device like a diode. So that is the major difference between the diode and thyristor. Additional terminal is a gate. And now we can see that availability of ratings. Like a diode, you can observe that high power ratings, voltage and current ratings and frequency 3000 volts and 3500 amperes and up to 1 kilohertz of frequency diode is going to be operate, and the availability of diode ratings. This is the diode rating. And then thyristor ratings 6 kilovolts and then 3.5 kilo amperes and up to 1 kilohertz. So this much voltage ratings and current ratings available for the thyristor. And now there is some different diodes I specified here. This is the symbol for diode and real components. These are the real components with the different numbering. That means this is IN4148, this one type of the diode, because different ratings and different numbering will be there in the market. You can buy the based on your rating requirement of the rating, and you can use that diode rectifiers. And this is the diode. This side we call it as a cathode, and this is the anode. So like that I shown some of the components here. And then we come to the BJT. BJT is a low rating comparatively SCR. You can see that SCR rating 6000 volts and 3500 current rating. But whereas in case of BJT, only 1200 volts and 400 amperes only. But we can able to operate, the frequency is 10 kilohertz. What is the frequency here? What is meaning of frequency here? Because I told initially one sentence, this device or a total subject deals with only switching on the device and switch off the device. That's all, nothing else. So now if your on and off intervals frequency is high, means what? Switch on and switch off intervals with less time duration we need to on and we need to off. So means many number of times you are doing switching on and off if frequency is more and more. That is only the different. So Depends on your application, high switching frequency and all, you can able to operate many number of times based on our requirement of the output. Anyhow, that will come under with waveforms later units. So at moment, you just observe what is the voltage, current ratings and frequencies of that. And BJT, this is the component and some number S9014C-33. This is a one number of BJT. There is a components anyhow. We know that terminals, emitter, base and collector. So this is the symbol of a BJT. This is the component. And now different types of BJTs are there. You just see that PNP and then NPN transistors, and there is a different hardware components also. Small type of in your lab, I think LDAC lab and all will use this type of BJTs. And this small symbol based on this arrow, you can define your components. I mean terminals. This is a collector, this is a base, and this one is a emitter. Similarly, another type of T092 model, you will get these are the flat type emitter, base and then collector. So you must know this so that only you can able, but to do your lab and all, you don't require all these things. Anyhow, it is already inbuilt. They will take it as a leads out and they will mark you as emitter, collector, base, something like that. And similarly in MOSFET, low range only but very high frequency operations you can use as a MOSFET. It will be 1000 volts and 50 amperes voltage and current rating. This is the one component of MOSFET, that is a drain, source and then gate. So these are the three terminals. This is a drain and then source terminal, then gate terminal. Like that we may have different types of MOSFET, N channel MOSFET, P channel. That will come under first unit all structuring. What is the N channel and what is the P channel, what is the enhancement type, what is the depletion layer type, and what is the comparison. So everything come under unit 1. Just I mention you to understand what is the symbol of that drain, source, gate. This will be as a P channel enhancement type, and this is a depletion layer type. So different types of MOSFETs is available. And now we can see that IGBT 1200 volts and 400 amperes and 20 kilohertz. This is a low rating. How IGBT will be formed? So it is nothing else. Once if you are aware, BJT and then MOSFET just will pick up the advantages of BJT and MOSFET will form as IGBT. Nothing more than that. So they have individual drawback of MOSFET, drawback of IGBT. BJT is there. Only we will consider the advantages of BJT, advantages of MOSFET. We will club it together and we will make it as a one hybrid device, that is IGBT. IGBT is nothing but an insulated gate bipolar transistor. So this is a new device will be formed by combining MOSFET and BJT. So then you can see simply on where you have to place the BJT and where is the MOSFET. You can observe the structure, inside structure. So input side I consider as a MOSFET and output side I connected as a transistor. So by combining these two devices and you will get it as a some terminals. Output side I connected as a transistor, that's why I pick up as a collector and emitter, and input side is a MOSFET, that I consider as a gate. So by combining all these two devices will form as a one new device, that is insulated gate bipolar transistor. This is a latest device only, but still latest devices are many things. MCTs will be there, GTOs will be there, like that. Many of the devices are there at moment. For your course up to IGBT is there, we will see that. And this is a 25N120. This is the one model of IGBT. It cost of 400 to 500, and you can able to use the 6 IGBTs or 4 IGBTs, and you will form as a single phase inverter. You try to develop your own single phase inverter by connecting as a some DC voltage or maybe solar panel. You can use it, small rating of solar panel, and connect it to the inverter, and you just connect one application as a fan, light or something small application. You can able to design by your own inverter also. And now these are all just introduction of the semiconductor device. Now we'll come into the controllers. So what are the controllers? I already explained. Uncontrolled rectifier is a diode rectifier, but we don't consider this as a power electronics. Other than this only, we consider power electronics controller rectifier. So this also we see in that first unit, and then there is a AC to DC converter. What is another name for this? I explained in detail of the syllabus. AC to DC converters also called as a phase controlled rectifier. So phase controlled rectifier function is it will convert fixed AC to the variable DC. So whenever if you show something controller, input side is a fixed one, output side is a controllable one. That's what. So you can see that input is a AC, it is a fixed one. This output is a DC, it is a variable one. So this is another control because I am explaining as a power electronics converters are a controllers. Then another controller, you can see that DC to DC converter. Another name for this is a choppers. Choppers are DC to DC converters. Both are same. And then AC voltage controllers. So AC to AC. This is a AC to AC, fixed AC to the variable. So this only, but constant frequency. So another one, you can see that cycloconverter. This also AC to AC only, means fixed AC to the variable AC with variable. In fact, this one will be as a fixed frequency, this one is a variable frequency. So these are the some of the types of controllers, AC to AC, as well as means AC voltage controller and cycloconverter. Another one is a last controller is a inverter. It will convert fixed DC to the variable AC as well as variable frequency. That also come into the picture in case of inverter. Depends upon our requirement. You may be required variable ACs as well as variable frequency. You can able to control variable AC and then variable frequency. So this is the different types of controllers. We'll see one by one controller. So first we'll see the diode rectifiers. So what is the function of diode rectifier? As you are aware that now diode rectifier, it will convert fixed AC into fixed DC. It won't convert back or control. It only the fixed. But how will you get different voltage means if you change the input. Suppose instead of 200 volts, if you connect 300 volts, proportionately output is going to be convert, but it is not a control. Only if input fluctuate, output is going to be vary accordingly. That is the diode rectifier. Another one is a significant single phase or a three phase. It may be diode rectifier, single phase diode rectifiers are there, three phase diode rectifiers are there. It depends on your output requirement. You connect single phase input or a three phase input. If you need more power or large outputs, you required as a high voltage in output side. So input must be as a three phase. Another one is so there is a lot of applications. I given only few here. So lot of applications are there in the diode rectifier. You can use battery charging and power supplies and welding UPS systems and then electric traction systems like that. Many applications are there in a diode rectifier. Now we can observe small circuit I shown half wave rectifier. So what is the half wave rectifier? All the things. Now if I replace diode by thyristor, you will get it as a second unit, nothing more than that. So you can see rectifier means that AC to DC. What is input? AC supply. That's why I consider input is a AC supply here. Small AC supply given. Now our circuit is a small one diode I used. Input is a AC supply. Output I connected to as a some load, as a resistive load I consider. So it is nothing but if you want you can connect like this also. It is same. Just it is both are grounded. So that's why this is one circuit. Now how current is going to is taking place throughout the subject, you have only positive off cycle and negative off cycle. Whereas in the DC case, on period and off period. These are the common terminology we'll use. So one terminology I call it as a, for AC input controllers, I call it as a positive half cycle and negative half cycle, whereas DC case I call it as a fixed D. Just a minute. You can observe the thing here, AC side positive half cycle. Now during positive half cycle you can observe this. What will happen the diode during positive half cycle? Diode is a forward bias. If diode is forward bias, what will happen? Current will pass AC supply, means source, and then now you can see that forward bias passing to the diode and it coming to the load side. Then output is what? Now you can see that this is the load. When diode is on means just it is a close. Now load is directly connected to the source. See that this end is directly connected to this point and this end is directly connected to this point. So that means whatever input is there, same thing will get it as output. That's why during positive half cycle, this amount of the input exactly I replaced here. This is our input is equal to the output during on condition or a forward bias condition. Forward bias condition, diode is closed, then automatically input is equal to the output. So that's why you are getting as a this output during positive. And during negative half cycle, now you check it, in the bubble is moving during negative half cycle, you can see that this duration and it won't allow. It is not passing through this side because diode is open. If diode is open, your output will be 0. You won't get any output voltage. So this is the way you are able to operate positive half cycle and negative half cycle operation. Now once if you observe that, automatically you can see that your output is a DC but fixed. How will you can say that it is a DC? You just integrate it. One full cycle you take it 1 by 2 pi full cycle integral 0 to pi and Vm sin omega t and plus 0, that will become as a average output voltage of a diode rectifier. In that, no control parameter is available in expression. In that expression, suppose you want to find V out or VDC, V out is equal to just average of this expression. Any controller, you want to get average output voltage 1 by 2 pi, because one full cycle you have to take it. So this is 1 by 2 pi and integral limits. What is limit? This limit is a 0 and then one half cycle it is a pi. We will get it as a pi. What is output? Same as the input. Input is a Vm sin omega t. Vs is nothing but a Vm sin omega t. Using that, you just d omega t. You will plus another half cycle. What is another half cycle? Is 0. So no need to do that. So that if you do that, Vm by 2 pi integral sine will give minus cos omega t 0 to pi, and then you will simply substitute that pi. Cos pi is equal to minus 1, minus get plus, and then 0 you can substitute is 1, so 2 will get cancelled. So like that you can able to just integrate it. You will get it as a what is the average output voltage of a half wave rectifier. But in that expression you don't get any alpha or something control parameter. All parameters are fixed. Vm is nothing but a root 2 into Vs. So then you won't get any control. So that is the reason we call it as a uncontrolled rectifier. So this is the diode rectifier case. Now you can see that suppose if it is a half-wave rectifier something, you can observe the same thing with the different voltages and current, because if this is on, during this condition is on, output is same as the input. So input and output are shown exactly same as this, and then current is resistive load. So voltage waveform and current waveforms are same, because only it will reduce some magnitude. So here some pulse, I mean what we call it as transformer turns ratio, even if you directly connect as a supply instead of transformer, So whatever load is there, it is connected to the source when diode is on. So you will get same as the input. That's why I drawn exactly whatever this portion is there, that I drawn here. And current waveform and voltage waveform exactly same because it is a resistive. And during negative half cycle, what will happen? Negative half cycle, this is a reverse bias. That means it is going to be open. And open means load is isolated from the source. So that is the reason you can observe this output voltage will be 0. Output current also going to be 0. So this is what our waveform is going to be. Like this, you need to draw many waveforms in your all 5 controllers, different loads. If I use R load or RL load, RLE load and so on, one full cycle we need to draw. Remaining automatically it is going to be repeated. Now